welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of the Auto Experience series. Today, we are driving something a lot more modern than we're used to. We are driving a 2022 Toyota Corolla APEX Edition. APEX Edition. Now let's go over what makes that kind of a special package on the Corolla and how it's really not the spiciest Corolla you can buy now that the GR Corolla is available or will be shortly. The APEX Edition brings some cool stuff to the table. Now when my buddy told me he bought an APEX Corolla, all I could vision was the AE86, you know, the Sprinter Trueno APEX that we all remember from Gran Turismo, because of course we do. So when he told me he had a modern one, I had no idea these existed. I don't know if you guys are like me, but this is a pretty rare model. Now the Toyota Corolla, a super common car, right? Toyota sold around 250,000 Corollas. Only 6,000 of them were APEX Edition. And of those 6,000, here's the cool part, because we are rowing our own gearbox today. Only 120 were manual transmissions. Now that is beyond unicorn rare. That is so exceptionally rare. And that was the numbers for 2021. And I believe it's a similar situation for 2022. So again, very low numbers, and they don't have plans to make any more of these. So 2 years only. If you get a manual, there were only 240 ever made. Wow, talk about a rare bird. Let's get back to what makes this an APEX Edition. You get some really amazing appearance package stuff. Great aggressive body styling, some cool bronze accents, everything's blacked out. Pretty cool stuff. Unique wheels to the car, 18-inch wheels. Pretty lightweight compared to the other 18s that come on the XSEs. Now this is a Corolla APEX SE, so it's a cloth interior, no sunroof example. If you want the manual, that's what you're getting. If you get the XSE, you get their version of the CVT with paddle shifting. Go with the manual, even though it's probably impossible to track one down now. Also, we don't just get appearance package, guys, so I want to stress that. They tweaked the handling pretty nicely in this, including fatter anti-sway bars. They touched up the suspension, a more aggressive suspension setup. The car sits a fair bit lower, about a ½ inch. There's a sport-tuned exhaust, which is pretty quiet, pretty subdued. Pretty interesting that they threw that in there. No horsepower gain from it. I think it's just a catback unit, but still cool nonetheless. So yeah, just some small tweaks, and that's why I'm kind of giving it a moderate spicy level, because they could have gone more all in on this, guys. They should have bumped the power a little bit. I think that would have been well received. But what we're left with is something amazing. Now it does come with summer tires on these nice wheels, and all the performance handling tweaks, they work. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This thing in the canyons and in the twisties is properly good. Turn-in is way quicker than it should be. It holds on for dear life very well, and the 6-speed manual is a joy to row through. It does have automatic rev matching, which is a modern touch. But what I want to talk about is, so yeah, no pump and power, right? It has the standard issue SE and XSE engine, which is the 2-liter dual overhead cam engine, making 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. And I know those numbers don't sound fantastic, but this car reminds me of my sweet spot. 80s and 90s, high revving. It's got a 7,000 red line. High revving, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder front-wheel drive cars with a manual gearbox. These are getting harder to find. All the segment competitors for this car are running turbo setups, albeit with much more power and quicker acceleration times. But I love Toyota. Toyota just stays like tried and true. It's kind of like Lexus in the sense that they're the only ones running NA V8s in their sports cars. I think that's such a cool touch. I love Toyota for that, nonetheless. As far as these cost, they do cost a fair amount more than a standard issue Corolla SE or XSE, but you are getting the performance tweaks, which I think are nice. It would cost you a bit in the aftermarket to get there, and the looks are pretty unique. I don't know if you can get there. I do love the touches they did to set this car apart, not to mention the cement paint color, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. Cool car flying under the radar. My buddy that purchased this car was looking for a commuter, something that gets good fuel economy, but still is fun to drive. And you know what? I don't know if anything ticks the box too much better than this. Good fuel economy. You're in the 30s. You can row your own. Very approachable gearbox. God, it's a good car. Let's go ahead and shake this car down. We're gonna do some objective tests, see the acceleration time, see if that engine does put out enough power to make it sporty and fun. Of course, we're gonna get the curb weight, see how hefty this modern front wheel drive fun car is. All right, guys, on to the objective tests. We've got the 2022 Toyota Corolla APEX up on the scales. Let's go ahead and get that curb weight and front and rear balance. At just over 2,850 pounds, the Corolla APEX is a rather lightweight modern sedan, but still heavier than the Corollas of past. A trend we see with all modern versions of older nameplates. Sporting a nearly 60-40% front-rear balance, the Corolla APEX basically aligns itself with the standard front-wheel drive, front-engine car weight distribution. Let's omit acceleration numbers with the Corolla APEX. They are fine, just not exceptional in any form. Handling, though, is where the APEX delivers the goods. The before-mentioned suspension improvements for this special edition firmly place the APEX edition in a handling stratum over lesser, normal Corollas. The APEX edition turns in exceptionally quick, and I found the steering weight to be well paired with its chassis dynamics. Cornering was also very flat and really encouraged me to push the car through tighter corners. The APEX edition is a certified canyon carver right out of the box. The APEX edition does a bunch to distinguish itself from the average highway clogging Corolla. Aggressive bumpers that actually avoid being garish give the APEX edition an edgy appearance for sure. Blacked out badges and roof are okay in my book, but a little overplayed at this point. I do adore the bold choice to add dark bronze accents to the body. Truthfully, it's my favorite subtle but awesome styling touch. Well, the wheels are actually pretty similar in coolness level. They are just some of my favorite modern car wheels. The paint color? I'm a massive fan of bright colored cars, but this cement paint is just fantastic and actually pops with all the black accents. The APEX edition looks fantastic. The APEX edition interior didn't win me over. The manual option, which is non-negotiable in my mind, only comes in the SE trim level. This translates to a cloth interior and no sunroof option. This is a perfectly acceptable sacrifice to appease the manual gearbox gods. Materials are also passable for this price point and segment, but the white surfaces don't jive well with me. They seem like they're going to be hellacious to keep clean and look kinda cheap and tacky. The APEX edition Corolla is powered by the same engine found in the SE and XSE Corolla models. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder dubbed the Dynamic Force engine. Its dual overhead cam design outputs 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque, and revs up to a 7,000 RPM redline. Though not ground-shattering, especially in today's turbocharged everything environment, the output is adequate for this application and motivates the car enough for sporty intentions to shine through. More power, as always, would have been well received. The nature of this naturally aspirated high-revving 4-cylinder did harken back to the power plants of the 80s and 90s with its simple nature. This, of course, stirred some happy emotions within me. Though incredibly unicorn blood rare in this model, the manual is the transmission option to hunt for. The slick 6-speed unit slots nicely from one gear to the next and allows for snappy upshifts right up to the 7,000 RPM redline.
Throws were a bit longer than I'd expect, and the clutch pedal feels like you're stepping on a pillow. But the speed you can row through the gears matches excellently with the quick revving engine. Apex Edition, the moderately spicy Corolla? Certainly spicier than the regular Corolla offerings with its zesty exterior styling flair. There's no mistaking the Apex Edition for a common Corolla. But are the driving dynamic changes enough to differentiate the model? Having to make do with the same power plant as a normal Corolla, there is no acceleration difference present, and I believe this was a miss for Toyota. Even an intake, exhaust, which actually nets power, and a tune upping the horsepower by 10 or so ponies would have been enough. However, the Apex Edition brought some handling favors to the party, and this is where it separated itself from common commuting Corollas. Fatter sway bars allow the rear to get a bit lively, and lowered suspension allows for more planted flat cornering experiences. This car can carve twisty sections of road with ease. The Apex appears to be more of an appetizer, as Toyota has recently presented its GR Corolla, the full spicy Corolla experience if you will, with all-wheel drive and 300 horsepower. But don't overlook the Apex. It's a very rare package, especially with the manual, and its looks and suspension mods make it a unique appearing and well-handling machine with just that extra kick of spice over the regular Corolla.